Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Dream. Welcome to the It's All Good show tonight on our sub podcast, EESystem Center owners interviews. God, it's a mouthful, isn't it? I'm super excited. I'm excited for all of them, but I'm very excited tonight. This is our first international one. And so I've been trying to make sure that my accent is easy for our owners down in Australia to understand. It's I think I'm doing pretty well, but this is exciting. I am a huge fan of EESystem, and for most of you, you already know that it goes back to 2020 when I had miraculous recovery from back-to-back strokes based on Dr. Sandra Rose Michael inviting me to Las Vegas to experience the energy enhancement system. And it's only gotten better from there. But I literally went from barely able to use a walker to walking unassisted in 2 hours. Wild story. And so big fan of Dr. Sandra, big fan of EESystem. And in the process of the last 18 months, I have personally, Stephanie and I have personally met 38 different EESystem Center owners all over the United States. And I decided I want to do a podcast just focused on EESystem owners all over the world. And my guests this evening are the first ones that have stepped up outside of the United States. And it's incredibly exciting for me for a couple of reasons. First of all, I absolutely love their energy. And second of all, they're in Australia, and I've traveled all over the world and I've never been to Australia. And so I'm just like, this whole thing is a fun experience. So I'd like to introduce Clare and Malakai Milner. They are with the Frequency of Light. It's in a town called Margaret River. It's on the west coast of Australia, 300 kilometers from Perth, and they have an amazing center, and they are fabulous energies. And welcome to the It's All Good show.
Thank you for having us, Dr. Dream.
Yeah, hi.
And it's wild, I thought it was confusing to try and get the times right when I was interviewing someone on the East Coast, and I'm in Southern California right now, and that 3-hour time difference, we were having trouble juggling the times. And I appreciate how easy it was to get both of you and the time, while a little bit daunting for me. We're here we are. So
yeah.
Australia, it's amazing. You're in Australia, and somewhere along the way, you heard about EESystem. I would love to know, what was your first point of contact with knowing that something called the energy enhancement system even existed?
Well, it all began with my health and wellness journey. Just to backtrack a little bit, about 25 years ago, my husband and I went through one round of IVF, and I got 5 autoimmune diseases, and the bad one being lupus. I pretty much had to leave work. I was hospitalized about 15 times in 1 year, and the future wasn't bright. I'm proud to say, as we all believe, if you change the environment in your body will do the right thing by you. I was worked hard, and I did cure all 5 autoimmune diseases. About 3.5 years ago, my autoimmune reared its ugly head again. This time, the swelling on my face was so severe I couldn't see, my eyes were shut. I had 25 precancerous cells down my thyroid, and I was bedridden. I did see the interview that went viral a little bit before that, but my monkey mind basically told myself, oh, wouldn't this be nice if this was brought out in my lifetime? because we are into frequency and energy, and I dismissed it. But I suppose everything leads you to the now moment, right? So the video again popped up on my screen when I wasn't well. And this time I went right down the rabbit hole to discover that these systems have been out for a very long time, to discover they were all in the east coast of Australia, and that we were blessed enough to have one in WA coming in the January, which was Nedlands, which was the first one for Western
less than
Australia.
2 months from seeing that.
So to cut a long story short, I couldn't drive because my spatial awareness was quite bad. My dear dad, who's 90, he drove me to my first session. And I'm proud to say my dad is very open, but he's a little bit indoctrinated. But he did come along with me. And after the first 2 hour session, I actually drove home in peak hour traffic. My swelling had halved on my face. And then to fast forward, within 4 weeks, I was actually back at work. Within 8 weeks, all my bloods were back into alignment and nothing was visible on my ultrasound for my thyroid. So, and also watching other people's miracle stories come out of that room at the same time. Then we've got a beautiful dog called Bill. It was time to say goodbye to him. It was time to, for him. He was getting tired. He's an old boy. And we looked at each other and we went, shall we give the energy enhancement system a go?
Absolutely.
So we did have a euthanasia appointment booked for him. We gave it 3 sessions. I think it was in total maybe 6 hours in those 3 sessions. And we got our puppy dog back. And that was 3 years ago now. And like I said, he's still with us. And today we're proud to say he's our emotional therapy dog for Frequency of Light.
So he goes around to make sure everyone's okay in their seats before the session. Anyone who needs any special attention or is going through some really big stuff, he'll go straight to them after the session, give them big cuddles, and he actually loves that room.
We can't keep him out of there, of the EE room.
How's your mum?
So fun. A little bit of a story. My mum, God bless her, she always talks about Bill and his, at first she was a little bit, I'm not sure about what this energy enhancement system's all about. But today, I mean, she's had incredible results from that room herself now. So she is completely converted, but she tells everybody about Bill. I can't believe Bill. And then Mal will turn around and go, we know a human being that's had
someone with 2 legs.
Incredible stories out of that. And she's like, I know about Claire, but Bill, I can't believe it.
I love it. And I love that before we started this conversation, you took the camera and you showed me Bill, and I was just like, Bill, the therapy dog, this is great. So that's fabulous. Now tell me, from that time, then when did you, you had these amazing experiences, you yourself, undeniable proof. I'm one of those people, it's like, I can't always explain the science, but I can sure talk to you about the proof being in the pudding. That old expression here in the United States. I don't know if it's down there, but it's when did you decide that it was about you all starting a center?
So when Claire got really sick through IVF, I decided to encourage her to leave her 9-to-5 job and really get herself better. And then eventually she got back into Reiki and started working in her field of healing, for want of a better word. And through that, then the next dozen years, she was working just exclusively with clients, working with children. At one stage, she turned around to me and said, wouldn't it be great to get to those broken adults before they're broken, when they're kids, before they get broken? And once again, I just thought it was a great idea. And so she came up with Calming Minds, which was a a program to take to schools, teach kids how to cope with day-to-day life, and once again seeing these great results. So Claire was really moving into, or we all get sort of caught up in the corporate world at some stage in our life, or most of us anyway. And she was really moving towards that. And for the last 6 years or 8 years now, I started moonlighting on weekends and just coming in and doing, I suppose, what I do, which is a little bit of energy work, a little bit of massage, crystal work, sound, that sort of thing. And we were really moving towards leaving corporate again. And then this came about. And it was, I suppose, the impetus for us to take it out of the home business and bring it onto the high street, for want of a better word. We got the location down here. We through Claire's experience with that healing, my own experience, I really didn't have any pre-existing conditions as such. And so I started going on the weekends to the centre that Claire was going to four times a week initially. And after the fourth session, it was just like this net had been taken off my crown. I really felt suddenly so much clearer, so much more connection right through. And it was more of a remembrance. It wasn't a new thing. It was just really sort of coming back home to our core energy again, and not being caught up in that corporate world. And so we made a decision to
investigate the EESystem.
Yeah.
And what actually happened was, because of the time difference, like we know, one morning, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up and I went, who's Malakai on the phone to? And Malakai's from the east coast of Australia. And I thought, oh, it must be his mum he's talking to. And I'm going, no, it's too early. Anyway, he comes back to bed so excited. He goes, you're not going to believe it. I've just spoken to May from Energy Enhancement System. We can't get Perth, Claire, because there's enough centres, but they've gifted us the Southwest. And I just sort of sat up and looked at him and going, have you won lotto? Just in shock. So we feel we were chosen, I suppose, to be able to get through
really
so
honoured.
easily.
Really honoured to be custodians.
And just how it flowed from there. Yes, we have uprooted our lives because of our belief in this system. We did live in Perth. I had a very successful holistic business there, as Malakai said, that came out of my first round of dis-ease in my body. But yeah, we've sold everything. We've uprooted our lives. We've moved 350 k's away from home. We've stepped into a little town just because we so believe in this system. So the driving force was we do believe this is the way of the future. We do believe, not quite sure if I'm allowed to say this, but the medical system is crumbling. We do believe the body wants to do the right thing by you if you do the right thing by it. And that's out of personal experience. So just forever grateful to Dr. Sandra and for seeing that video. And as I said, we do believe good comes out of supposedly not so good, and everything has just led us to this now moment. And the miracles we're seeing walking out of this door, it still needs to catch on down here because it's so futuristic, if you like, but the ones that come with an open mind and heart, just seeing the results is our payment, I suppose, and just makes our heart, not
just the physical as well, they sort of start channeling more, they start making better decisions because their mind's right.
So for us, we've been given the opportunity from the EE system. It's our purpose to serve the community. And we've really been given an opportunity to step into that purpose fully. and do what we do. And it's not like coming to work. We just absolutely love it and love everyone that we cross paths with. Yeah.
I love your story and I love everything that's involved in it. When did you open your center, Frequency of Light?
We've only been open last year in January officially. So we've been open now, what
14 months.
14 months.
15 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How many units do you have?
12.
12 unit. Excellent. Some of my favorite centers here in the United States are 12 units.
Yes.
And so
we're always a little bit kooky. We think you've got to be weird to be normal, and those people that are too normal, well, they're a bit weird. I asked Claire to marry me according to the moon, and we ended up getting married by the moon. And 3 is a very special number for us. And so we ended up getting married on the 3rd day after the 12th new moon. So 3 and 12 is a 3. And when it came to this, we decided to go with 12, which brings us back to 3.
Well, we do believe, I don't know if I'm making this up or not, but Dr. Sandra has also said that, the 12 is a sweet spot, for the DNA. So, yeah. It was a little bit about numerology and our favorite number being 3.
no, I love it. I love it. You're just my flavor of weirdness. So it's now I want to go to Australia even more. So you've had your experiences. It's been life-changing. It's been life-changing for you, Claire. It has been life-changing for Bill. Thank goodness that this all came about and you had the appointment for him and you didn't need to take him. And everything like that. It's obviously had an impact on you, Malakai, and that's extraordinary. Now you've been open for 14 months or so. Tell me what I read your website and everything, and a beautiful website, by the way, and we'll put the link in the notes wherever this is posted. It'll be part of it. But tell me some of the stories from the clients that you've had.
Wow, where do we start? I don't know where we start. There was one lady, okay, we'll tell you a few if we've got time.
Yes.
So one gentleman, this was just only in the last couple of weeks. He was in a cubby house and looking at the moons and stars. He stepped back and he fell out of the cubby house and he broke his shoulder. So he basically walked in a sling.
Unable to drive at this stage.
Unable to drive. Someone had to pick him up. He did 2 hours and then we gift the hour in between if someone books a double session. So he booked a double session. So he did 5 hours in total. At the end of the session, he couldn't even, I don't know if you can say my arm. At the beginning of the session, he couldn't even go like this with his arm. At the end, the sling was off. He was going like this. He was hugging.
He was hugging us.
I went, just take it easy. Don't overdo it. No cartwheels just yet. But yeah.
At one stage, I walked in just to make sure everything was okay. And there he was in the middle of the room doing Tai Chi with his arms, he just had an incredible experience. He also came back for a sound session. We do sound in there every couple of weeks. And once again, he had a massive shift in his mobility, his range of motion, just in that next 2-hour session. There's one story.
We had a gentleman from Perth come down. He broke his ankle. Broke his ankle, is that correct, Graham?
Yes, yeah. He got it caught under, his boss had left the fork tines up and his foot went under the fork tines, didn't realise, and he kept walking. And so he did ligament damage and bone damage as well. Yes.
Basically couldn't drive, was in a really, really bad way, medically.
Pain.
A lot of pain. Medically, they were struggling with him. He was a bit of a problem child. Him and his wife drove him down. They hired the centre out for 2 nights. And we're pleased to say, we're just cutting a long story short here, he actually drove home
Yeah,
the 3 hour pain-free for the
Yeah.
first, was the
And
first
has
time
been
he drove.
pain-free for ever since, which is over 8 months now.
Yeah.
So, yes.
So medically, they're blown away that, as I said, he couldn't drive before his visit down here. And again, another miracle story. He drove 3.5 hours home, and still today, pain-free. Another lady, hip replacement. The scans weren't great. She had a combination of the energy enhancement system and the pulse electromagnetic field mat. After I think it was 10 days, we're pleased to say no hip replacement required. So that was another mind-blowing story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lady with brain cancer. Do you want to talk about, Janine?
Yeah, so about 6 years ago, a beautiful lady was struck down with brain cancer. Apparently it was quite large and they only removed half. And so she spent the last 6 years treating it with various things to keep it at bay. And then after coming in here, she was at the stage that she arrived, she was having seizures quite often.
So they couldn't put earrings in her ear.
Yeah,
Couldn't hold a proper conversation.
unable to have more than around about 5 sentences of conversation before the thoughts just got lost in her head. And she was unable to walk anything longer than probably 100 meters, not even. And after, I mean, she was in
She
here.
did two double sessions, so in total it was 10 hours. Hasn't had a seizure since. Can hold a cup of coffee.
She's been doing a couple of overnighters.
She's been a lot
Yes.
more since that time, but after those 10 hours, no seizures, could hold a cup of coffee in her hand, could hold a conversation and walk up the stairs in her home.
Yeah, that's right. Her hand would automatically just drop whatever was in there after a certain time. And so, her greatest pleasure at the moment is going to the letterbox to get the mail, which apparently is about 300 meters from the home, and putting her earrings in.
And she got a driver's license back in January, which is very cool.
Yeah, so that's after 6 years, and then this massive spike in her health and recovery, all to do with
Well, the energy enhancement system,
So it must be pretty amazing for the two of you to watch somebody come in that can barely walk, or that can't move their arm, or that doesn't have the control that they want to have. And after a certain amount of time, that's completely shifted. It must be very validating to everything that you've done to make this happen.
When we have our moments and going, what have we done? It's a beautiful reminder. This is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
People don't need to suffer. I've been there. It's exhausting not being well, having that positive mindset. Some days you just don't want to go on.
Right.
So
as a partner, to see your partner going through and struggling like that, I remember the conversation, and the owner of the first system that we ended up going to clearly remembers the conversation with me as well. I was in tears. I was struggling as much as Claire, but in a different way. I was seeing her struggle, and that was really heart-wrenching for me, and this is what we really wanted to be able to offer this to the community, and offer an opportunity for people to, we had one person who sort of said, when they go to like a tarot card reader, or, it's like a child going to a parent and saying, what's my next move? And she said, when she comes in here and sits in that room and faces her higher self, she says, it's like I'm the parent, and I'm making the decisions for me about my next move. And so for us, it's wow, what an honor to be able
Mm,
to be
mm,
custodians and have
mm,
stewardship over such an amazing technology that
mm.
really is
Because you're right, it
something.
just doesn't affect the patient, it affects the loved ones and everyone around.
Mm,
So, yeah, it brings me to tears quite often,
mm,
just with my heart just bursting to see the change. And
yeah,
like I said, that's why we do what we do, is to see
yeah,
those miracles
yeah.
and
Put our
see people getting better and having quality of life,
mm,
you
Yeah,
know.
changes
And it's
everything.
yeah.
yeah,
And it's not just, as we know, it's not about being, you don't need a physical dis-ease to get a benefit out of that room. We have people come, they call it their insurance policy, just to get a top up to stay healthy, because it's always better to prevent than rather than get sick and then try and get better, you
mm,
know? So even watching those people who are well physically, seeing them just being really focused, more energy, to make the right choices in life, and start to take off as well. So, yeah, it's not just people with disease. I mean, those stories do get me big
yeah.
time, as I said, because of our personal journey. But yeah, just it's mind blowing and humbling to be able to witness and walk by these people's side,
Yeah,
and see
yeah,
the results
really is.
that they're
Tell
getting for
me,
themselves.
with all the people that come in, what advice do you give people for when they're going to be sitting there? I mean, you've seen, I'm sure that not everyone that's come in has felt remarkably changed after 2 hours. There are those stories, most certainly in every center.
Hmm.
But there are things that make a difference. And what do you share with your clients to help them get the most out of it, to leverage it at the highest level?
So we let them know nobody heals them, but they heal them. We tell them don't look at these beautiful energy enhancement systems and think this is going to heal you. It's your body that's syncing with that pure environment that you're in. There's no point having a bottle of wine, having a hamburger, negative thoughts. I mean, that's something we can work on the sideline. And it goes hand in hand, with what you're doing outside of this center. The detox process is extremely important.
Mm,
We do go on and on and on about that.
yeah,
Good.
There has been a handful of people who possibly haven't done that, and then they've got flu-like symptoms, etc. I always talk about my girlfriend in Perth. It wasn't, she's holistic, wasn't lack of the centre in Perth or us telling her about the detox. She went for a swim in the ocean. She didn't die. She's fine. She's still with us. But what happened? Her lymphatic system all swelled up because the toxins were trying to get out, right? So we do explain to people, the ocean's great, but the ocean's cold. So, and the difference between having, your detox, with really hot water. So it's what you eat, drink lots of water, it's your lifestyle that goes hand in hand. We also tell people, we had one lady with a frozen shoulder. She went to the Bowen therapist after her 2 hour appointment. Um, she just rang me the next day going, Claire, I can't believe it. I was pain free when I left. My Bowen therapist appointment's normally an hour. After half an hour, he went, you're done. I don't know what you've been doing. It was obviously she came in here, so her cells are all oxygenated. So she, just heightens anything else that you do out of the center. After the detox, you're going to feel different. After a night's sleep, And like that lady in particular, she saw the progression, when she left here to after a Bowen therapist to after the detox, the next morning, she was just getting better and better. Sorry, I'm waffling a little bit.
that's
To
good.
answer your question, we let them know their lifestyle goes hand in hand. We're very clear about that. And we're very clear about
Not not thinking that the system is going to do everything for you.
Well, nobody, you know, even when we do our one-on-ones, we tell people we're just a vessel that's bringing in the energy. You know, if you feel heat from my hands, it's not coming from me, you know, it's coming through me. We've got beautiful on our reception desk. We've got, because we so believe, Dr. Sandra's saying, you know, the power that made the body heals the body. And I'm a living proof. And so are, you know, the people that have come with an open heart and mind to try the systems. But again, you know, those people eat healthy. They drink a lot of water. They meditate.
Yeah. There's no silver bullet.
And
You
look,
know, you
and
can't
to be
Right.
honest, there are
go
people.
once
Yeah.
and expect that suddenly you're going to turn everything around. And everybody is different. Everybody reacts differently. Everybody's got a different journey up until the time that they arrive. And so we let them know that, you know, everybody will go through a different process. Every session we've ever experienced
Is
in that
different.
room is different to the last session. We're not the same people we were when we woke up this morning. We're not the same people we were yesterday. You know, and so we're constantly changing, evolving, and it's up to the individual to really embrace more of this holistic lifestyle, as well as supplementing it by, you know, coming to the system or doing things to help themselves.
Yeah, and we do tell people, depending on where you are in your evolution to wellness in mind, body, spirit, and soul, if you do have a serious ailment going on, like I did, you know, I didn't go. Again, if you want a six pack, you can't go to the gym once a month, right? So it's not about living in there for the rest of your life, but we do recommend, because of my journey and others that we've seen, you really come as much as you can, and then you start filtering off, you know, until you get to the maintenance.
Turn the health around and then get back out there with life.
And I
You
think,
know?
with both of our stories, me being the one that wasn't well, Malachi, it took him 4 times to have a session before he felt something. So we can come from both angles. You may not feel anything. You know, some people don't feel the tingles. Some people go in there like me. I'm hypersensitive to energy. I just get tingles all the time, but I'm hypersensitive to energy, you know. Eventually people feel the tingles though. Even the
Absolutely.
non-believers. Yeah, it's hard not to. So yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about, I was so impressed when I was looking at the website. You all offer a wide range of other modalities and therapies. I'd like to just give you the opportunity to you've talked about a little bit in the conversation we've had already, but give us an idea of what all you offer there in addition to the energy enhancement system.
Yeah, so in the energy enhancement system room, we do offer ancient sounds that Malachi and I facilitate. We're sound therapists. So we have shamanic drums, crystal bowls. Oh gosh, the list just goes on and on with our magical musical instruments. So we offer that in the energy enhancement system, and we also offer fascia focus. Who's one of our regulars here, Moo, and so she works on the fascia. We find anything we do in the energy enhancement system, it just goes to another level completely. So that's what we do in that room. We will be offering more modalities in the next month.
We've done a few workshops in there as well.
We've done a few workshops in there as well. We've done a global peace meditation in there with beautiful Di Littlewood. So there's more to come in that room, which we're really excited about. We do have a consultation room, a treatment room. They call me a Reiki master. I've gone a little bit rogue over time. I've been practicing for over 3 decades now. So my spirit guides talk to your spirit guides, and you're basically running the session. So I do energy balancing. I don't touch, but that can involve ancient sounds in that session, Reiki. We use essential oils and also Australian bushflower essences. So that's for my one-on-ones. But I also work with the mindset as well, because I'm a big believer that thought, emotions, environment affect your energy field. So my one-on-ones over time have changed. I now gift people really simple life skills that they can introduce into their lifestyle to maintain that energy field. Malachi is a qualified shiatsu masseuse, but he's gone a little bit rogue as well over the years. So he
Yeah, I
does
feel I'm a
touch.
little bit more shamanic. I've done some shamanic training, but obviously with all the sound, I like to use my voice. I have heard that this is the most powerful healer for ourselves. But when I'm working on somebody with massage and I'm feeling energy, but it's stagnant, I'll bring in that voice. I also work with crystals, and
Bushflower essences,
bushflower
etc.
essences, essential oils, all of that sort of thing, as well as we've got the pulse electromagnetic field mat. And so what we find is that that one works really well with reducing pain quite quickly, quite very, very rapidly. Just doesn't last as long. And then we do quite a bit of combination where we go for the PMF mat and then put them into the room as well, into the EE system. And that seems to lock in all of the changes there. And in combination, just works really well. Once again, anything that happens in that room just gets heightened. And anything else you're doing, once you step into the EE system, once again, it just heightens everything else you're doing. Yeah.
So the one-on-ones with us for the energy balancing and the intuitive massage are very guided sessions, if you like. Whereas the pulse magnetic field mat, the PMF mat, obviously there's particular frequency. It lifts the millivolts in your cells like the energy enhancement system does. Creates a magnetic loop around the body. So it's quite science-based, if you like.
Yeah, NASA's been doing it for over 100 years to help with muscle dystrophy, if people are in space or something. So,
Well, I believe in America, anyway, yeah.
yeah.
So so I mean, obviously us being us, we constantly bring through universal energy.
Yeah. We've been listening a lot to our clients coming into the energy enhancement system, and so some of the feedback is, "Oh, look, I'm just not able to meditate or quieten my mind." So Dr. Sandra has done a couple of meditations, and we've turned those. We have speakers. Sound is so important to us. And so we don't have quiet room. We have beautiful 528, 432, different types of beautiful angelic music that are at that frequency for universal love, universal healing. And so we find that having that just helps with if there's any heavy breathers in there, but also for those that want a guided meditation. Dr. Sandra's got I think it's an hour and 20 minutes. She's got another one that's an hour. So we do those, do offer those in there. We also love just bringing through that little bit of that first 5 minutes, just helping people to put their baggage down, to sort of put the day aside, put all the triggers that have already happened today, just down for a moment while they bring their energy back to themselves, bring their energy back to their heart center, and just sort of settle them, and remind them that they're here for them. They're not here for everybody else. And especially, we have a lot of women and a lot of mothers coming in, and we know that they just give so much without giving back to themselves. And so that's sort of their natural state. And so, that's really something that we've taken on as feedback over the first couple of months, and now we really try and just personalize that introduction so that they can really settle in that room in the
And
EE
we've called
system.
it, well, it's Frequency of Light Holistic Hub. And there's a reason we've called it Hub, because if you look up that work, it's a real place of gathering where people can feel safe, where they feel heard and supported on their journey. Because, like they say, we're all walking each other home. And I think it's really important that people can speak and get things up. And yeah, so it's a real place where people can pop in, and say hi or sit on the couch and pull a card or read a book if they want to. They don't necessarily need an appointment as such. And it's amazing how many people pop in and they go, "Oh, I haven't seen you for ages." They bump into other people and yeah, so it's a real place of gathering. And where I suppose you come and manifest your own wellness in mind, body, spirit, and soul on all levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just
Just
got,
sounds so amazing. I I'm so deeply appreciative of this lovely conversation that we've been able to have today. Now, as we're nearing the end, is there anything that we haven't talked about or anything that you want to, focus on a little bit before we finish up?
look, certainly, I suppose going back over the ancient sounds that we bring into the energy enhancement room. We've heard right around the world that anyone that brings these beautiful modalities. So we've got a beautiful guy who does didgeridoo every second fortnight. We come in, we do our stuff, and the consensus, they're probably our most popular sessions. The consensus is that there's just something so magically powerful about bringing a pure intention into that room beyond just the energies that are going on in there. Um, yeah, that's
Yeah. Look, no, I don't know what I want to say. If anybody's listening to this and you're suffering, and even if you're a non-believer, you've got nothing to lose. We do see it time and time again with me having a holistic centre up in Perth before coming down here. The people that didn't believe in energy, and people that ended up coming to me because they tried everything else. This is the stuff that gets the results. You've got nothing to lose. Just got nothing to lose. We've had one or two people who were sort of dragged here. They weren't that interested. And now they've converted themselves. No one's converted them but themselves, because there's no denying what you feel. I talk about my mum. She was a big non-believer. And now just, her own experience in there. And obviously, I know she knows about me, but especially Bill. Yeah, there's just no denying in the change that you see with people. So, as I said, if anyone is listening to this and you happen to be looking at this or any other podcast from Dr. Dream or Energy Enhancement System, there's a reason it's popped on your screen. Yeah, you've got nothing to lose, nothing. And I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about energy enhancement system, how it's gone worldwide. And I know in the deepest part of my heart, it's just going to expand further and further and further. And that's really exciting for humanity.
It absolutely is. And I have to say that, well, first of all, to be in the EE system family with the two of you is I'm deeply honored. Your commitment and dedication, you were told you couldn't do this in Perth. That's where you live. And you took everything and you moved 300 kilometers away And that's uplifting your whole life and your community, but that's based on your deepest belief.
Absolutely.
And that is exceptional to me. And I'm so pleased to have been able to have this conversation with the two of you, and to hear you clearly state that your purpose is to serve your community. And that statement right there, and that energy, and that is driving you, is what's changing the world. And you two, being the custodians, the stewards of this energy in your community, in your area, is making all the difference. And I'm on a vibrational high right now, just from listening to the two of you. I've got it down. I'm going to, honey, we're going to Australia. I'm just like,
Come down under.
it's
Still have. Come on
yeah,
down.
no, we're gonna come see you one day for sure. We'll remember
Absolutely.
this. But thank you so much for I mean, thank you for being on the It's All Good show, of course, but thank you for doing what you're doing, and doing it with, I mean, the two of you have truly beautiful, amazing, powerful energy, and we're thousands of miles apart right now. And I feel it all the way here in the Southern California, and I can only imagine the people that come there to the Frequency of Light Holistic Hub, and just what that means to them and what it means to the community. And I wish for you, all the people that need this energy, to show up there at the doorstep, and to be the recipients of what you have to offer. And thank you so much from my heart to yours, and out to the universe, for everything that you do. And you all have a wonderful week, and thank you for being on the It's All Good show.
And Dr. Dream, thank you so much for moving mountains and everything that you're doing, and your
really
belief for Dr. Sandra's work and this beautiful system. We're truly, truly blessed to be a part of this. So from our heart to yours, thank you so much.
We're all in this together, and I couldn't be happier right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.